this is MJ, and today we'll be working through our second video for our crochet along, and we'll be working on our back panel for today's tutorial. So we're using our CotLin yarn with our 4.5mm hook throughout this pattern. If you haven't watched the first video, I suggest you go back, watch that video, and make your gauge swatch before beginning. So the size I'm working on, it's an oversized fit. So I'm working on our medium size, and we're working on a 25-inch back panel. So if you want to follow along with the pattern for the size you're making, that's great. So what I'm going to do is I'm doing my repeat of 10 by 9. So I am going to chain 90 plus 2 because our stitch pattern is worked in multiples of 10 plus 2. And that is going to give me that, once blocked, I'm going to have about a 25-inch back panel. 24.75 to be exact, but I'm just rounding up to 25. So we're going to start, and this is a review somewhat of the gauge swatch because we're working through the same stitch pattern. It's just now we're working that full back panel. So to begin, we need to chain 92. And I'm going to work all my chains here off camera, and then I'm going to meet you up. Once you have your chain worked up, whatever the size you're making your cardigan. So now what we're going to do is a row of single crochet. So we're working in the second chain from the hook. And we're just working single crochet stitches all the way across our chain. We're not going to hop right into the stitch pattern. We're going to do 2 rows of single crochet before we begin, just to kind of give a nice base to the cardigan. And at the end, we're actually going to go back and just go over it, go over those edges with a single crochet border again, just to kind of finish off the piece. So continue working your single crochet stitches all the way across, and you should have 91 stitches. Okay, so once you've worked all the way across, we're going to chain 1 and turn, and we're working back across in every stitch. Our chain 1 is not included as a stitch. We're going to work through very first stitch and work single crochet stitches all the way back across. So this is the setup for the stitch pattern. And remember, you're going to have 91 stitches, working all the way across. Okay, so once you finish your 2 rows of single crochet, we're going to be starting into the stitch pattern. So let me chain 1 and turn. So now we're on to the right side of our work, and this is important to remember, and you can put a stitch marker if you want. If that helps you to know where you're at, you can just clip on a little stitch marker here so that showing that this is the right side. So our first row going into the stitch pattern will be the right side of our work. Our first row is just slightly different from our gauge swatch, so I'm going to work through that with you. So we'll work 1 single crochet in the first single crochet. I've chained 1 already there, and a single crochet in the next. Chain 3. We're going to skip 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3, and work our chain 3 V-stitch. So work a double, chain 3, and then work a double crochet in the same stitch. Now we'll chain 3, skip 3, 1, 2, 3, work 1 single crochet in each of the next 3, chain 3, skip 3, 1, 2, 3, work our chain 3 V-stitch, so a double, chain 3, and a double, chain 3, and we're just repeating this, so skipping 3, working 3 single crochet, and just work that all the way along your piece, and I'll meet you up at the end. And as we get to the end, you should have 5 stitches remaining. I've chained 3, we'll skip 3, and single crochet in the final 2. So that's how your panel for your back and your front begin. And now what I'm gonna do is, because I've already gone through the stitch pattern on the swatch, I'm gonna pop up those videos to work through. Now, what I will do is put a pop-up on how many shells and stuff you should have, just so you're sure that you're on track. So like for here, it would be the chain 3 V-stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You're making 9 of them if you're doing a 9 repeat. So now if you've done a 7 repeat or a 12 repeat, whatever, you're just basically having that many. So then that's how many shells you're gonna have, etc. But I'm just gonna pop up the video to go through the stitch pattern again, rather than working through it along this long piece, because that's gonna take way too much time. So the gauge swatch will work fine for us going through that 6-row repeat. Now what I want you to then do is we want to repeat our 6th row 7 times. So an easy way just to look at your repeat is you're having 1 row of shells and another row of shells, because you're having your shells like this, and then you're having your shell that goes in between. So this is 1 repeat, 2 repeats, 3 repeats, and you want to do a total of 7 repeats for your back panel. So this is going to take a little bit of work to do, and that's why this portion of the video is just one video, because I want you to get all of this work done. This might take you a couple evenings to do, depending on how fast of a crocheter you are and how much time you have. You might be able to get it done in one evening. But so this is your next step. I want you to follow that stitch pattern, and I want you to do a total of 7 repeats. And when you have 7 repeats and this work is all blocked out, that should be close to 23 inches of length, okay, before we get into the sleeves. Back and redo it. So now we're moving on to row 2. And we're going to chain 1 and turn. We're going to work 1 single crochet in the first stitch. Then we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And now in our chain 3 space here, this is like a V, and we've made a space. We're going to do 7 double crochet. Okay, so I worked through that fairly quickly, so there's 7 double crochet in there. Now we'll chain 3. And we're going to work a single crochet in the single crochet that's in the center. So we skip the first one, work a single crochet in the next. Oops. and then we chain 3. And now in our next chain 3 space, we're going to work 7 double crochet again. Okay, so now we're finishing up and we're going to chain 3. And in the last single crochet, we're going to do a single crochet. Okay, and now we're going to chain 6 and we're going to turn. So now what we're going to do is work single crochets in every DC of our shell. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And now we're going to chain 5. And we'll work single crochets across the next shell. So 7 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And to finish off here, we're going to chain 2. And we're going to work a treble crochet in that final single crochet. So yarn over twice, going through the single crochet. So now this is how it's looking. So now for row 4, we're going to chain 4. And we're going to turn. And now we'll work a double crochet in that same space. So we've made a little V here. Now we'll chain 3. And we're working only 3 single crochets through the center. So we're skipping the first 2 singles, working 3, 1, 2, 3, and then you should have 2 singles on the other side that we're skipping. Now we're going to chain 3. And then we want to make another V here. And we're going to do it in the center of the chain 5. So we need to skip over 2 of the chains, and in the 3rd chain, we're going to work a double crochet. So push that through the chain. Double crochet, chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Then going back into that same chain, we're working a double crochet. So this is setting up that next shell that's going to be in the center of these shells. Then we chain 3, and we're working 3 single crochet. So we're skipping 2 singles. And in the next 3 singles, we'll work a single in each. We'll chain 3, and you just look at the pattern. We're doing, so in this big chain space here, we're doing a V. So we're working a double, chain 1, and a double. So these V's on the ends, but they only have 1 chain in them as opposed to 3 that's in the center. And now for row 5, we'll chain 3. And we're going to do a half shell in this space. So we're going to work 3 double crochet, and our chain 3 is counting as one of those doubles. Okay, so there's our half shell made. we're going to chain 3. And in the center of our 3 single crochets, we do 1 single crochet. 1, 2, 3, we chain 3 again, and now we're doing our full 7 DC shell in between here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We'll chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and we do our single crochet down here in the center of our 3 singles. Chain 3, and we're doing a half shell, so we're going to do 4 double crochet in that final V stitch. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. And now we'll chain 1 and turn onto row 6, and we're back to doing our singles on top of the shells. So we'll work a single crochet in the first 4 stitches here. And then we're going to chain 5 to get over to the next shell. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Skip over and work a single crochet in each of those double crochets. So a total of 7. And chain 5 to get over to the next one. 2, 3, 4, 5. And single crochets. So we have 3 doubles here. 1, 2, 3, and then we have that chain 3, and we'll do a single crochet right into that. So we have 4. So 4 on this side, 4 on this side, it's all even. And now we have one more row we're going to do in our repeat. So we're going to do row 7 now. So chain 1, turn. We're going to work a single crochet in the first and the second. And then we're going to chain 3. And now we need to set up our shells again, so we're doing them in the chain 5s. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's the third chain right here that we're doing our double. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3. And our double, 1, 2, 3. And then we're skipping over 2 single crochets and we're doing 3 singles. And then 1, 2, 3. And in the third chain of the chain 5, so 1, 2, 3, we're doing a double. Chain 3 and a double. Chain 3, and then we end the same as we start with a single crochet in the last 2.